and I would like to say some words on the Global Compact on Migration. On the 10th and 11th of December, there will be an international congress in Marrakesh, Morocco, with regard to this Global Compact on Migration. And the participating countries are set to sign this agreement. And although this joint agreement isn't binding, it's still meant to be the legal framework on which the participating countries commit themselves to build new legislation. And one basic element of this new agreement is the extension of the definition of hate speech. The agreement wants to criminalize migration speech. Criticism of migration will become a criminal offense. And media outlets, and that also concerns you, that give room to criticism of migration can be shut down. The Compact for Migration is legalization of mass migration. It's declaring migration as a human right. So in fact, it will become impossible to criticize Ms. Merkel's welcome migrants politics without being at risk to be jailed for hate speech. So this agreement, to our humble opinion, is a coup d'etat of pro-migrant liberal globalists. And it will greatly benefit multinationals. Because, you know, countries who import the third world will become the third world. And it's absolutely clear, and you all know that in third world countries, multinationals dictate the rules. It will become impossible to state that integration of migrants from Islamic countries in Western cultures is impossible. It will become impossible to mention the fact that mass migration deteriorates the Western welfare systems and the fact that mass migration leads to explosive surge of rape and murder.
Hey, so many of you will have seen this clip already, but I felt the need to include it just in case, because there has been a bit of talk about, I only just found out basically earlier today, that the New Zealand government is planning on signing this compact by the UN to make mass migration a human right, essentially, and to define criticism of migration as hate speech, which is all kind of disturbing. I think regardless of your position on migration itself, mass migration itself, even if you're open borders, it's still pretty concerning to make it hate speech, to talk about a group of people that aren't, it's not something like sexuality or race where you're kind of just born with it. You choose to be a migrant. So to define it as hate speech when it's not an inalienable trait, and it's also something that is a big political issue and a divisive political issue. We all I think most people will have a slightly different opinion on it, and it's a controversial topic. To make it hate speech and just shut down the conversation, we no longer get to have the debate, and I don't want to live in that kind of world. So basically the reason that I'm making this video is because, and in a rush as well, is because I think this is really a step in the wrong direction for any country that chooses to sign this compact, because we'll be entering a commitment that I hope we can ignore, and I will fight at every step of the way. We'll be committing to basically legislating hate speech laws against things that are really just political issues that are up for debate. and it'll be setting it up so that it's no longer up for debate and we no longer have control over our borders. And as I say, it doesn't really matter what your stance on migration is. I think everyone should be concerned about this, because people are still going to be anti-migration. They're still going to be anti-mass immigration. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think it's very good for the migrants that we already have in our countries. I don't think it's very good for the working class people of the country, because it makes it harder for them to get jobs. I don't think it's very good for the culture of the country, because you can have a mass influx. When you have a mass influx of people from a completely different culture, it'll fundamentally change the country that they go to. And I quite like New Zealand. I think we have a really great culture, and I do want to see it preserved. I want the sorts of people who come to this country to come here because they want to be a part of this culture. So yeah, that's pretty much the summary of my concerns here. It's that this is the first step down a path towards what I see as tyranny, essentially. It's making it so that your political speech, which has nothing to do with hate, could get you into legal trouble, like going to jail. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about it, but I really had to say something. So yeah, please share this. If you're a Kiwi, please go to, I'm gonna put a link in the description to a petition you can sign on Parliament's website to stop this going ahead. It would be really, really great if you could sign it and share it with people who are going to sign it. So Kiwis probably? I don't know. Sign it, try and sign it anyway, even if you're overseas. Maybe it won't count, but just do it anyway. Because this is really, I mean, it can't go on. I heard about this a while ago, about the actual compact itself, and I was kind of like, oh man, because I'm constantly watching in horror what's going on in the EU and the UK and going, God, I'm so glad that's not happening here, even though I kind of know that it is happening here as well. I kind of try not to think about it too much. And for some reason, I don't really know why, but I just completely forgot, like, New Zealand's kind of like Canada. Like, we're just gonna cuck ourselves to whatever, we're just gonna try and virtue signal at any opportunity, even at the cost of our own sovereignty. We're just gonna go for it. So I should have really seen when it was a UN compact that it's like, yeah, we're probably gonna go for it. But I really hope we don't. And look, if it leads to legislation being drafted that we don't like, we should go out and protest and just use our political voice as much as we can and try and stop this. And if it doesn't work, I guess I'll move to the US where there's an actual constitution. But yeah, short of that, let's just focus on what we can do from here and try and get this thing stopped. Try and stop it going any further, I guess. That would be really good. Yeah. So sorry. Oh yeah, also, I'm kind of surprised that I haven't heard, I would really like to see if Winston Peters has said anything about this. For those of you outside New Zealand, Winston Peters is a very, very cool politician, and you should look him up. He's really funny. I feel this is such a stupid disclaimer, and it pisses me off when people say it, but you kind of have to say it. I don't agree with everything that Winston Peters says and stands for. Should be a given, but yeah, I think he's really funny, and he's quite protective of New Zealand citizenry. He's not a big globalist, he's more of a nationalist type, which I am somewhat keen on. That's pretty awesome. So yeah, go check out Winston. We have some really, really funny politics going on in this country. There was that guy that got hit in the face by a dildo. Just go look it up, it's brilliant. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say, really. So I'll leave you to it. I'm sorry this is really bad quality and I don't have any time to edit it. I've just got to sort of throw it together and shove it up on the internet because I only have less than an hour really before I have to be somewhere. Yeah, sorry I haven't made videos lately. I've just started full-time work and I haven't had time. It's not even that I haven't had time, it's more like all I do all day is sit at a computer and stare at a screen. So when I get home at the end of the day, the last thing I want to do is get out my computer and make a video. But I am planning, once I sort of settle in a bit and feel a bit less exhausted, because it's hard adjusting to a new lifestyle, I suppose. I do want to get back into making videos again. There's so much going on just constantly, and like I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should make a video, but it's sort of over. The next thing's already started by the time I've even got my act together. So yeah. Also thanks to the new subscribers. I've been getting a few more. So thanks, welcome. There will be more content, just don't expect it to come out on a regular, predictable basis. So in case you don't hear from me before Christmas, Merry Christmas, and I hope to talk to you again sometime in life. We'll see. So please sign the petition. Take care. Bye-bye.